Everybody, it's Michael from Replica Airguns with another tabletop BB pistol review. You might hear a little bit of rain falling outside. I have a metal deck and it's raining pretty hard. Lots of water splashing down off the roof. So today we're going to look at the ASG X9 Classsic Beretta M9 CO2 Blowback 4.5mm BB pistol. And again, this is the tabletop review. So there isn't going to be any shooting in this video. Now before I start, I wanted to mention that this pistol is available in our Canada Replica Airgun store. And you can find it with the other ASG products. It is a replica of the classic Beretta M9. It is unlicensed. ASG does not hold the Beretta licensing as far as I know. Now, this pistol does come in a nice box with the Allen key and the manual and everything. So we'll just take a look at the box real quick here. So full metal, classic design, realistic blowback. Right. Steel BB, full metal, double action. It's actually single and double action blowback. Okay, there's some information on the back or on the side. It's kind of hard to angle up here, but basically some of the specifications, which I am going to be going over in a second. In the box, you're going to get your manual, okay? So your typical manual, right? Don't shoot yourself in the face. Don't point the gun at your face. Don't point it at other people's faces. Those are important things to know, right? Lots of do's and don'ts, right? Don't walk around outside your house in public, right? Here, how to load it, right? That kind of information. Loading and stuff. Now this is steel BB, so keep that in mind. Some specifications inside. You also get a box of steel BBs. You get your Allen key for tightening the CO2. All right. Let's get into some of the specifications right away here. It is semi-auto only, unlike the Umarex version, which is semi and full auto selectable. This one is just semi-auto, which is fine. To be honest, you rarely shoot these guns in full auto. You're just going to eat up tons of CO2, and you're going to spray BBs all over the place because of the blowback action. They're not going to be accurate, and you're going to lose a lot of power real quick, especially at the latter part of that magazine. This gun will have strong blowback action. The slide locks back after the last shot, so the slide release does work. It's pretty much an all-metal build with the exception of a few plastic parts like the gas tube and of course the grips. This gun uses 12 gram CO2 cartridges. It shoots again 4.5mm steel BBs, not airsoft BBs. And you cannot shoot airsoft BBs with this gun. Watch my airsoft versus BB video if you're not clear on that. The magazine holds 16 shots in its full-size dropout metal magazine. And as with other steel BB pistols, it has a smooth bore 4.5-inch barrel. This gun shoots in single action and double action, since it has that double action, single action trigger hammer. Has a claimed FPS of up to 312, may get a little more on a warmer day. And this gun is made by KJWorks out of Taiwan. Right away, we're going to compare this gun to some other guns, and I've done a preview video for this gun. So this is the KJWorks Airsoft version. And as I showed in other videos, you'll see that even the serial numbers, once you get them to focus, are the same. Right? Same serial number. So basically it's KJ35569 on both guns. Kind of gives you an indication that they are pretty much the same. Now the KJWorks Airsoft version is a little bit different finish. It's a bit more, I'd call it a semi-gloss, whereas the Steel BB version has more of a matte finish. But they are the same gun, really, other than some slight cosmetic differences. And really the only cosmetic was the finish difference. And you can see that the basically the tip, the front sight, is a little bit shorter and thinner, not as high profile on the Steel BB version. Not sure why. I kind of like the sights on the Airsoft version. They're a little bit more like the white dots are clear, right? You can see they're a little bit bigger, but still, that's still going to work for the Steel BB version. Just a little bit different. Okay, another Beretta through Umarex is the Pietro Beretta. This is a model 92A1, right? So slightly different, has the rail, slightly different trigger guard, a couple different cosmetic changes, but both these guns are very similar, right? They're going to function similarly. They're going to shoot very similarly. This one, I believe, is made through KWC, whereas this one's made by KJWorks, and in my opinion, KJWorks guns are a little bit better than KWC guns. Nothing wrong with KWC guns, but the fit and finish, especially the finish on the KJWork guns, holds up a little bit better. I don't know why, but for some reason KWC guns, the finish tends to wear off on the high spots a little quicker on most of them. What you will find with the Umarex version is that you have semi-auto and full auto selectability, which is really cool, but again, it's a bit of a novelty. It's not something you're going to use as much as you think You're going to use it at first because it's there, and then you're going to realize, wow, that just eats CO2 and sprays BBs a lot. So kind of fun for a bit, and then you go back to shooting semi-auto anyways, right? So you will notice on the Umarex version, you got the ugly white writing on it, typical of most Umarex and KWC guns, right? At least the KWC branded or licensed guns distributed by other companies. Okay, but nice gun, a lot of the same functionality, like blowback and everything, all the same, right? I'm not sure if there's any CO2 in this gun, I can't remember. Alright, so let's take a look at one more gun, another Umarex gun, right? Okay, now this one is basically the Desert Storm version. It's the same as the Model 92A1, it's just got the aged sort of look, the distressed look, right? Even the magazine's distressed, everything, but they're virtually identical in terms of their mechanical parts and how they're built, including the full and semi-auto. Alright, let's do a quick walk around of this pistol, get in here nice and tight. Alright, so again, you can see that licensing there. Okay. Right. This is your takedown. I will be field stripping it for you in a bit here, but you can take this pistol down, right, with the takedown lever. Got your slide catch release, right? You've got your magazine release, okay? Now, cutouts on the sides, which I kind of like because sometimes the CO2 can get kind of lodged up there and it's a bit hard to bang out. But basically, you push this in, a little hard to do, and you can get at the CO2 screw, okay, and tighten it up using the Allen key. Pop it back on. There's your CO2 valve, right? You would load, basically, pretty tight spring. You can load from the top or the bottom, it's up to you, okay? We have our ASG licensing or branding right there, plastic grips, ambidextrous safety, just like you'd find on a typical M9, right? Again, your rear sights, white dot, sort of small, but they're there. The trigger is single action and double action. Sorry, that would be single, right? Single action, double action, and you do have a half cock, which is nice. Okay, you see right down through the mag well. So you've got your ASG branding, caliber, F for the European markets, serial number on that side, and serial number on that side. Kind of interesting. I guess that's the individual serialization they talk about, but there is one stamped right into the frame as well. Okay, there's your inner barrel. Alright, let's field strip this gun while we're at it here. So basically, the barrel just comes right off the front, the whole slide and barrel come right off the front. Then you pop, you can get in here, you pop this to the side, comes out of its little trough. You're going to want to pop your barrel forward just a little bit so that it gives you a little bit of slack. Then your spring and rod come out, okay, slide, spring, and rod, and then this just comes out the bottom. And so we have our slide. You can get it to focus. Right, there it is. Okay, not super weighty because it is cut out, not as heavy as some slides, but the barrel, you know, internal barrel is pretty heavy. It's got a bit of weight to it, right? And there should be, just trying to see if there's any hop-up adjustment. Not really, but there will be a little rubber bar. I don't know if you can see it in there, but there's a little rubber bar that stops the BB from going down the barrel once the barrel's been or the BB's been chambered, and that will allow for some hop up a little bit. Okay, so pretty cool. Let's pop that back in. Again, push that down just a bit. Get this in. Once it's in, then you can pop the barrel back. Hard to do on camera with my hands all weirded. Okay, so now once that's in, you want to just get this back in its little track like that, so it's all back together. Let's take a look at the frame. Okay, it is a metal frame, so it's got a little bit of weight. Not as much as when it's all back together, but that's pretty much it. Whoops. Alright, for some reason the slide rod was just, I don't know, it was sitting a little too high or whatever. It was just knocking to the piece there. Seems to be good now. So we're going to pop that back in. We're good to go. There goes your magazine, goes back in. And good to fire already. Right? Alright, I haven't shot this exact gun And to be honest, I haven't even done a proper field test for the Airsoft version. I did do a kind of clay pigeon first person shooting test, I guess you'd call it, with the KJWorks Airsoft version of the same gun, and just went out kind of and shot some clay pigeons. It was fun, but it wasn't any type of scientific testing. It was just out shooting, having a bit of fun. I'll put the link for that video in here and put it in the description as well if you want to check that one out. But I do expect it to have pretty strong blowback action because of the very heavy slide spring. Should have a velocity of close to what it claims, maybe even up into the 330 FPS range on a warmer day. In terms of usable magazines, I would expect about 3 or 4 fully loaded magazines, so 16-shot magazines using one 12-gram CO2 cartridge. And accuracy should be in the 1 to 3 inch grouping range. It's kind of hard to tell until I actually get out and shoot it. But sometimes these guns can surprise you and get like a 1 inch or 1.5 inch grouping from 30 feet out. That isn't something too unexpected. And I do expect the trigger to shoot fairly nice in single action mode. It does have a fairly light trigger with that usual slight Beretta take-up. Let's get into some of the pros and the cons. It doesn't have that ugly white writing that the Umarex version has on the slide. It is a really nice replica of the original Beretta M9 without the licensing, of course. It does have that great weight and feel to it. It is an all-metal design gun with nice fit and finish. It's very good, which is typical of KJWork guns, and I do expect the finish to wear a little bit better than some of the other KWC full blowback guns. It does have a fairly strong slide spring, so it should have fairly nice heavy blowback action. And again, it has that true ambidextrous working safety on the slide and a working slide catch and release. As with most of these full blowback guns, it does have the full dropout metal magazine that holds the BBs and the CO2, and it can be field stripped like the original Beretta M9. And again, getting back to that KJWorks quality, it is a step up from some other blowback CO2 air guns. As always, there's a few cons. It isn't licensed like the Umarex version, so if you want the official Beretta licensing on this gun, you're going to have to go with the Umarex version. And even though it does have white dot sights front and back, they're a little dull, they're not too bright, so it's a little hard to see them, but better than nothing, and they aren't adjustable, so keep that in mind. Like pretty much all of these full blowback CO2 BB pistols, it will eat up a lot of CO2, even when you're not shooting in full auto mode like some other guns have. Even semi-auto mode is going to use up a lot of CO2. Just slow down your shooting a little bit, take some time between mag loads, and you should be okay. Alright, again, keep in mind this gun is available in our Canada Replica Airgun store, so if you're interested in it, come on down to replicaAirguns.ca. I'll also have a written article over at replicaAirguns.com, so you can check out that article. I'll put a link in the description. There'll be additional photos for you to check out, along with my written post. And again, if you're interested in air guns, BB guns, airsoft guns, blank guns, pellet guns, knives, or other accessories, come and check us out at replicaAirguns.us for our US store and replicaAirguns.ca for our Canada store. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.